So the equation that we are going to be working with today is f of t equals negative t squared plus 7t plus 9. So we have to find the y-intercept, the x-intercept, and the vertex to graph this equation. But first, we need to remember that since we are using f of t instead of f of x, t most likely represents time, which must always be in the first quadrant. So to find the y-intercept, you must set t to 0. F of 0 equals 0 squared plus 7 times 0 plus 9. When you're done substituting it, find that f of 0 is equal to 9. So this, since f of x or f of t is also known as a fancy y, the y-intercept is 0, 9. This is very important because we need it to graph. Next, we have to find the x-intercept, which is a little bit more tricky. So to find the x-intercept, since this equation cannot be factored normally, you have to use the quadratic equation, which is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And when you substitute it in, get negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 7 squared minus 4 times negative 1, and then c, 9. A is equal to negative 1, b is equal to 7, and c is equal to 9. That's a quick note. All over 2 times negative 1. So you have to simplify this a couple of times until you get the most desired equation that you can put into your calculator. And you have to simplify this one more time. Now, this is easy to put into a calculator, and if you do it by hand, it'll take a long time. So when you put it into the calculator, you get negative 7 plus the square root of 85 all over negative 2 equals to negative 1.109772, or to simplify, 1.11. And then for negative 7 minus the square root of 85 all over negative 2, you get 8.109772, or 8.11. Since it's time, it has to be in the first quadrant. Nothing can be negative. So this automatically can't be the x-intercept because it's negative, which means this is the x-intercept. Now, we have to move on to graphing. So this is going to be a sketch. Just the first quadrant, x-axis, y-axis. What we didn't find is the vertex. The vertex is h, comma, k. H is equal to negative b over 2a. And if you substitute using the numbers, you get negative 7 over negative 2. And since it's two negatives, it cancels out, and you get 7 over 2, which is positive, which is great. And then you have to move on to k, which is 4ac minus b squared all over 2a. When you substitute, you get 4 times negative 1 times 9 minus 7 squared all over 2 times negative 1. And you have to simplify, and you get negative 36 minus 49 over negative 2, or negative 85 over 2, negative 2, excuse me, which the negatives cancel out again, and you get 85 over 2, which is another positive, which is perfect. So the vertex is h 7 over 2, which is 3.5, and then 85 over 2, which is 42.5. So now you have to graph it. So you put the y-intercept. I'm going to put it a little bit low because you have to reach higher up for the vertex, excuse me. So you graph the y-intercept, and you must label. And then you graph the x-intercept, and the vertex. So you connect the dots, and that is the graph. Make sure to label 8.11 comma 0 for the x-intercept, 0 comma 9 for the y-intercept, and then 7 over 2 comma 85 over 2, which is the vertex. And here you have your graph. This was created by Stephanie Schwartz of 822. Thanks for watching.